guys, Julia here from JM Squared Vintage. Welcome back to the channel. I am here today with a ship with me. These are all orders that came through over the weekend. We actually had a really good weekend of sales. I think I've got about $1,000 in sales here, which is incredible. January was a really slow month for me, I know for a lot of you, but let me know, did you guys have a good weekend this past weekend? And just, my videos are all out of order right now, but as of today, Monday, last night, the Eagles won the Super Bowl, so go Birds. For my Philly peeps out there, you know. If you know, you know. Hope you were on Broad Street. Hope you held it down for me last night. I'm gonna see if I can get this one edited and up this week. But with that being said, today is Monday. I've had kind of a weird day. I'm supposed to be having a new dryer delivered, and they gave me one of those like, we'll be there between 10 and 3 windows, and it is currently like 2:55. I've waited the entire day for them. I'm pretty sure that they are going to be here in the next 5 minutes. So I'll let you know when that happens, but for now, I've got a lot of stuff that I need to get packed up and off to the post office. I can't wait any longer. So before we get started here, guys, if this is your first time here, if this is your first time stumbling on my channel, first and foremost, welcome. I am Julia. That is my name. We talk all things thrifting and vintage and the business of reselling here on the internet. If that sounds like something that you might be into, consider hitting subscribe down below. I would love to have you along on this journey. But without further ado, guys, we have a lot to get through. So why don't you go grab yourself a snack, grab yourself a drink, sit back, relax, and let's get into the shipment. Real quick, before we get into the shipment, I want to take a quick minute to thank the sponsor of this video, Vendoo. You've heard me talk ad nauseum about Vendoo, whether the video is sponsored or not, and that's not going to stop anytime soon. It really is the cornerstone of my reseller's tech stack. One of the most important things that you can do as a reseller is to diversify the platforms that you sell on. That means you are not putting all of your eggs in one basket and only selling on Poshmark or only selling on eBay. And Vendoo's cross-listing feature makes that just so much easier to do. With just a few clicks, you can list all of your items on multiple platforms like Poshmark and eBay, Mercari, Depop, Shopify, Etsy, and as of today, like today, February 14th, Vinted. Vinted is already massive in Europe, so if you are a European-based reseller, that is big news for you. They've been around for a long time, they're really well established. I think that they're gonna be a major player stateside. So why not get your items listed? Using a tool like Vendoo makes it just as easy to have all of your items listed on multiple platforms as it is to have them listed on just one platform. So why are you not doing it? One of the things that I love most about Vendoo is that they are constantly innovating, trying to address friction points and pain points that we resellers encounter. And one of the newest features that they just rolled out is their bulk edit feature. And with this feature, you can edit from one screen up to 240 listings at a time. So say you want to run a sale on eBay. Let me show you how easy this is to do. So you go up here to bulk actions, you click bulk edit, and it'll allow you to select up to 240 items. You click bulk edit, select eBay. If this is a more permanent change, like if you're not running a sale for just like a weekend, you can make the change to the Vendoo form as well. Just click confirm. Once you're loaded, all you do is you click on what you want to change. So say I want to drop the price here by 10%. You just type in 10%. If you want to apply this to every item you have, just select this. I'm not going to apply it because I'm not running a sale right now, but that's all you need to do. And it is as easy as that. So this isn't just for like making bulk edits identical to all 240 things. You can change the title, the description, the listing price, the brand, the condition, anything you see across this board, you can change right here from one screen without clicking in and clicking out of each item. Nobody has time for that. I don't care if you are a part-time reseller, full-time reseller, literally nobody has time to do that. So it's features like this that Vendoo is constantly working on and refining that allow us resellers to stay consistent, save so much time, and put our focus on making more sales. So if you are ready to streamline your workflow and manage and cross-list your inventory with just a few clicks, I promise you will not be disappointed. Click the link, check out the bulk edits feature, and get started elevating your reselling game today. Now, back to the shipments. We've got a lot to get through. So the first thing we have here is this cute pair of Abercrombie jeans. These are the mom jeans. This is a style that was very, very popular. If this was a year ago, I would tell you to pick this up at pretty much any price. Today, I think you're gonna anticipate getting somewhere between $20 and $30 pretty standard on this. Abercrombie jeans are still a good buy if you can get them at the right price. And to be totally honest, like I actually really like them. I mean, their quality is really nice for the price. I know that they're not cheap, but they definitely feel like premium jeans. You know the difference between a pair of like super cheapy jeans and a good quality pair of jeans. And these feel like premium. And I wanna say they retail at about $100. And to be totally honest, I'm somebody who like, I have such trouble finding like the right fit for me that I kind of don't care what jeans cost. I was the girl that for like the longest time would buy like every pair of jeans at TJ Maxx that were like $20 that almost fit me, and I would have like 15, 20 pairs of jeans in my closet and I would not feel great in any of them. I'd rather have 3 pairs of jeans that I feel great in. And you know what I'm saying? Like it's good fitting jeans, like jeans that you feel great in are worth the investment. So if you haven't in a while and you are looking for a pair of jeans that you love, I would consider putting Abercrombie on that list. I'm typically a Madewell gal, but like every body is different. Anyway, I had this listed for about 11 months. Again, these mom jeans took a little bit longer to sell than I anticipated. I had them listed for $36. I got an offer for $25, and which I gladly accepted. After 11 months, I was ready to move these on. And with a $1 cost of the bins, this brought me to a profit of $22.23. Hope she loves it. They're great jeans. Again, I can't say enough good things about the quality of Abercrombie jeans right now. And if it does feel like I'm speeding through these, you're right. I just know that these guys are gonna show up, and the most important thing to me right now is that I get these things to the post office on time. Next up here, I have this amazing vintage jacket from Bergjac. This is like, I literally picked this up from the dry cleaner, so I'm just gonna keep it like in the dry cleaning bag. It's this gorgeous like spring green, kind of raincoaty style. Not quite sure if it is waterproof or not, but I think it is so stinking cute. I think you know how much I love my vintage pieces, and this is one of those ones. I was kind of surprised at how long this took. I mean, I guess it was a size small and it was definitely a bright, you know, bold color. But one of the things to know is that like when I pick up something that's vintage, I always anticipate it taking a little bit longer to sell. It's just generally a little bit of a smaller, it's a more dedicated buyer pool, but it is generally a smaller buyer pool. And the sizing can always be very, very wonky. But this was just so cute. It had a couple little specks on it, and I took it to the dry cleaners and they did a really nice job with it. There's only like 2 or 3 little specks that are left. And you know, when you're dealing with something that's about 60 years old, you kind of expect a few little specks on it. It's nothing that anybody would like notice unless they were really looking for it though. So I had this listed for about a year. Again, that's kind of what I always anticipate with vintage things. And sometimes they pop off way, way faster than I expect. But generally when I pick up something that's vintage and a little bit more significant, I generally anticipate it taking about a year, just for your sakes, for your calculations as you are sourcing. So I had it listed for $78. Again, I had it for about a year. I got an offer for $60, which I gladly accepted. With a $1 cost of the bins, this brought me to a profit of $56. There was also like the dry cleaning cost in there, which I think was like $15, but either way, great piece, and I'm so happy it's going on to a new home. Next up is this super cute dress from Lost and Wander. 100% this was a style pickup for me. Lost and Wander isn't one of those brands that I would tell you to pick up typically. I think this is an in-house like Nordstrom brand. Nothing super expensive, nothing super fancy. But it's just this cute orange, ditzy floral, cottagecore kind of prairie style dress with a smocked bodice and little tie shoulders, which I love. I'm somebody who's really short from like here to here. So I always appreciate when like straps are adjustable in one way or the other. I don't know, let me know, like anybody else like that? I feel like when I say that to people, nobody understands what I mean when I say I'm short from here to here, but I have a feeling that if you are short from here to here, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So let me know. These types of dresses typically do quite well for me. This one just took a while to sell, and I'm not quite sure why. I don't know if it's a brand that's not really sought after or if it's the color. I mean, orange is a tough color to wear for a lot of skin tones. Anybody on the cool side of the spectrum is not pulling off orange in any way that they want to. Either way, I had this listed for $32 and I had it for about 10 months. Like I said, this took a little bit longer to sell than anticipated. And my sidekick sent an offer for $27, which was accepted. So with the $1 cost of the bins, this brought me to a profit of $20.60. I'm glad to be moving this on, but I hope she loves it because it is a super, super cute dress. Perfect for the spring season that is literally right around the corner. Next up, this was such a fun find. This is Rebecca Taylor. This is vintage Rebecca Taylor. This is like Y2K. And I don't know if you can tell what this print is, but it's kind of like a photo print of roses, and then select roses are colorized. It's so, so cute. It was a tiny size, but I had to pick it up. This kind of stuff from Y2K, especially from a brand like Rebecca Taylor, which is, you know, a pretty high-end designer, you know, they're just few and far between. If this was modern and I knew it, I would have thought twice about picking it up. Rebecca Taylor has just kind of slowed on sales for me, at least the modern stuff. And a size 0 is just, you know, it's a hard sell. But this was too cute. I could not leave that behind. And again, you know, when you think about a vintage piece, it's just there is a finite supply of it out there, and every day it dwindles in terms of what is available on the market. You know, somebody tears a shirt like this, that's it, it's done. There's no more. There's like, they're not making anymore, you know? So anyway, I had this listed for about 5 months, not surprised. I mean, again, it's a size 0, it's a vintage piece. And I had it listed for $32 and I got an offer for $27, which I did gladly accept. With a $1 cost of the bins, this brought me to a profit of $21.43. I hope she absolutely loves it. This is such a cool piece. This is gonna be like a conversation starter. Next up is this adorable top from Brave and True. I believe this is another Nordstrom brand. Correct me if I'm wrong, but obviously the reason I picked this up is because it's a taupe linen, wide, oversized shirt. I mean, this is the kind of thing that I kind of don't care what brand it is, I'm gonna pick it up. I mean, I've picked up a lot of things like this that don't even have a brand label at all, and they sell well. Linen is just one of those things that always sells. It exists outside of trends. I'm happy to report that I do have like a forever pickups video coming up. Obviously, linen's gonna be part of that, just spoilers. This is the kind of thing that's a no-brainer. Would I pay $15 for this if if this was something that they had marked up in store? Probably not, but like, you know, at the bins, $1 or $2. If you're at the thrift store, $3 or $4 or $5, even $5 all day, I would pick stuff like this up. Like a good linen piece, especially like a larger size or like an oversized linen piece, is such a safe bet. And like in this world, there's not many safe bets, but linen is one of them. So I had this listed for just 2 months. And they've been pretty cold months, so not surprising. I had it listed at $32 and I got an offer for $25, which I did accept. With a $1 cost of the bins, this brought me to a profit of $21.91. Hope she loves it. Again, just like a slam dunk, like easy piece, great condition, all of the check marks for things that I like to pick up. Next up, this was an interesting find that I got. This is a dress from the Odells. This was something that I didn't even comp in store. For whatever reason, just in the back of my mind, I recognized the name. And it's definitely a high-end brand. These things retail for like $280, like super, super spendy. They're no longer around either, so that's a thing. I believe this one in particular was sold at Anthropologie, and I loved this print, the blue with the orange, just like perfect. It is a full wrap dress, but this one in particular has been tacked at the bust. But it's definitely a label I want you to be keeping your eyes out for. Like, let me know if you've ever found it before. This is the only time I've ever seen it out in the wild, in store or in a thrift or in the bins. And so let me know if this is something that is like on your radar, something that you see quite a bit of or used to see quite a bit of. Again, I don't think that they're around anymore. So I would imagine that the amount of these that we're gonna be seeing out in the wild is going to decrease over time, but very, very expensive. Like sold comps on the Odell's pieces range from like $40 to like $150 depending on what they were. So definitely a brand to be on the lookout for sure. So I had this listed for about 6 months. Again, it's a higher priced item, so it's always gonna take a little bit longer to sell. I had it listed at $74 and I got an offer for $55, which I gladly accepted. With a $1 cost at the bins, this brought me to a profit of $48.60. So again, expensive brand, so keep your eyes out for it. Let me know if you've ever found it while you were out and about. Like, what did you get? How much did you get for it? How fast did it sell? Always so interested to hear your experience with brands like that. Next up, this is one that my mom found, but you know how much I love Sundance. This is that like silk rayon blend velvet. Like, look at how that shines and look at how that drapes. Sundance is just a slam dunk pickup for me. You know, people love it. They have a real cult following. Their stuff is unique. It's well made. They always have really nice textiles. I feel like if you see Sundance, even if you're unfamiliar with the brand, like I feel like if you have any bead on quality and unique garments, I'm pretty sure you'll pick up Sundance even if you don't know what it is. Update, it's been about 21 minutes and the dryer is still not here. We're experiencing the chaos of my day together. But Sundance is just one of those brands that pretty much no matter what it is, I'm gonna pick it up. I will say I do give preference to larger sizes in Sundance. This tends to be, I guess, I mean, kind of like a little bit more of a mature brand, but I know plenty of younger people that wear Sundance just because it's very, very unique and it's just gorgeous stuff. And again, if you ever find yourself in Salt Lake City and you like Sundance, there is a Sundance outlet in the Sugar House area. So if you happen to be in town for like a ski trip or a conference or something and you like Sundance, do yourself a favor and get yourself over to that outlet because they do have great stuff there. So I had this listed for just 1 month. Again, this is one that my mom found back east, which is always exciting. She knows how much I love Sundance stuff. And I had it listed for $30 and I got an offer for $25, which I gladly accepted. With a roughly $1 cost. I think she got this at her bins location. With like a roughly $1 cost, this brought me to a profit of $22.76. Hope she loves it. I mean, like, this is just one of my favorite brands to like get out of the bins and get into the hands of somebody who's going to wear it. Like, Sundance should just never be in the waste stream. I had to spread everything out over here. This thing just dropped. So much stuff to go out today that it is like testing the strength of my little collapsible clothing rack here. All right, next up is the most darling little top from Reformation. To kind of handle this carefully because it's hook and eye closure and this is hard to keep closed if you don't have something kind of pulling against it, you know? So this is 100% linen. It is so Reformation. Like, I don't know how else to describe this. This is exactly their style and it's in great condition. So it's 100% linen. It is fully lined. Just a gorgeous little like cottagecore style top. I went back and forth with the gal who picked it up and she's going on vacation. I think she leaves on Thursday. So she's like, is there any way you can get this out the door on Monday? I'm like, absolutely, I got you. Luckily it's staying here in the States. So it should get to her, I think by Wednesday, if not tomorrow. So keeping my fingers crossed for no delays from the post office so this can go on holiday with her. I do love finding Reformation stuff. It's one of those brands that just like people know and people love and it is very expensive. Like this top I think retailed at like $150 or $160. Like it is not cheap. So I had this listed at $52 and I had it listed for like under 1 day. This sold within a day of listing. And I got an offer for $40, which I did accept with a $2 cost of the bins. This brought me to a profit of $30 even. I hope she loves it. I hope she has a beautiful vacation. I hope she has some great memories in that shirt. I get real misty about stuff like that, clearly. Next up is this great pair of jeans from Mother. That was a great find. This is the Weekender Fray, I think is the name of this jean. The funny thing is, it's supposed to be an ankle length jean, but this is like a mid-wash, and there's like a little bit of additional wear like near the cuffs. So I priced it accordingly. Mother jeans, I think that they retail for like $268. Like they are wildly expensive. I mean, I just said even earlier in this video that I kind of don't care what jeans cost, but $278 is probably a bridge too far. You know, like, especially for a stretch denim. It's one thing if you're going to Japan and you're buying like a pair of raw denim that, you know, something that's made to last you a lifetime. There is no such thing as a stretch denim that's made to last a lifetime. It's just, you know, elastic has a shelf life and that is just a fact of what elastic is. Eventually it will stretch out. And because the thing, when you talk about an elastic does not refer to the stretch of something, it refers to the bounce back. So eventually all elastic will lose its bounce back. Isn't that kind of a weird little tidbit? So I had these listed at $85. Again, they had that little bit of damage there by the hem. To put this into context, these exact jeans, new with tags, were being sold between like $120 and $150. So Mother jeans is definitely a brand to be on the lookout for, especially in a more modern cut, your baggier jeans, your straighter fit, your flares especially. I think we're gonna be seeing more and more and more flares. Oh, I just saw somebody out my window and my neighbor's daughters are out front playing and they just kicked something into our yard. I'm like, who is on my front yard? Anyway, so Kendrick Lamar last night in his halftime show wore flare jeans. So I'm telling you right now, flare jeans are about to explode. So be on the lookout for men's flare jeans, for women's flare jeans. They're gonna start flying out of closets. Anyway, I had these listed for $85 for under 1 week. I got an offer for $65, which I gladly accepted with a $2 cost of the bins. This brought me to a profit of $50. I hope she loves them. Next up, I've got a cute 2-part bundle. The first piece of the bundle here is this adorable kimono. This is from INC, like International Concepts. I believe that's a Macy's in-house brand. Definitely not something that I typically pick up. Like I'll do like style pickups. Like I've done a couple velvet blazers from INC that sold really quick. Of course, you know how much I love a kimono. And I like that this was embroidered. I thought this was a really nice piece. It took a long time to sell, but I'm not super surprised. A lot of people, when they want kimonos, they want bright colors. That's just a thing. So that is piece one. And then the second thing they picked up is this adorable little like swim cover up open cardigan from Easel. Easel's one of those brands that I'm pretty sure is technically like a higher end boutique brand, but I also am pretty sure that they sold at Anthropologie for a while. This is definitely linen blend. Like it definitely has a little bit of linen in it. So it feels like a dream and it's got a little tie belt, but I do pick up Easel. It's not something that I would pay up for, but if I see it at the bins, and I don't see it all that often, but if I see it at the bins, I absolutely pick this up. Let me know, are you familiar with Easel? Do you like Easel? Do you pick it up? Is it something that you sell well? I'm interested because I can't find much information about it like on the web at all. And to be clear, like I am a professional Googler. As I always say to my friends, if something is available on this planet, I can find it. I also feel like that is a thing with millennial women. Like we are just naturally born like detectives. Any other millennial women out there, let me know. Do you agree? Are you also like a natural born detective? You know, your friend has a date from like a dating app, like within 5 minutes, you know, like where he grew up, who his best friends are, who his exes are. We ladies gotta keep each other safe, you know? I think that that's where that came from. So this bundle, both of the pieces I had for quite a while, I think 10 to 11 months each. I think I wrote down the wrong numbers. Yes, okay. The bundle price on this was somewhere in the 50s and she had offered me 45, and which I did accept, and with a $2 cost of the bins, this brought me to a total profit of $35.60. I'm often getting these labels prepped early in the morning, and clearly I had not had my matcha latte at that point. Next up, this is a cool vintage piece. One that I wasn't sure how fast this was gonna sell. I don't do a lot of men's vintage, but this is from the 70s. And I mean, it just looks like the 70s. It's in really good shape though. It's from a brand called National Shirt. It's got this cool stripe across the chest. You can 100% see, anytime I sell something like this, especially men's, I always wonder if it's going on to be part of like a costume or if it's going to be part of somebody's wardrobe. I could see this easily being either, just because it's nice, like neutral colors, it's in great shape. But I will say, when I did get this, there was a bunch of spots of discoloration on it, and I was able to get most of it out, which is always exciting to me. But I'm not gonna leave behind vintage menswear. I'm just not gonna do that. I feel like there's just less vintage menswear out there because I think in general, like men just have less clothing than women, like across the board, you know, like where women have like dressy dresses, casual dresses, formal dresses, cocktail dresses. And then, you know, in terms of our regular clothes, we have like lounge clothes and like casual clothes and like brunch clothes. We have different like levels of clothing where men typically have like t-shirts, polos, sweaters, suits, and maybe a tuxedo. You know, a polo shirt like this would have been worn a lot more than a typical woman's garment. And I think that that still holds true today. So it's always exciting when you can find one that isn't absolutely positively worked. Update, we're at about 35 minutes and the dryer is still not here. So glad I started. So I had this listed for about 7 months. Not surprised, again, vintage pieces just tend to take a little bit longer. And I had it listed for $34 and it popped through as a full price sale. And I find that I get more full price sales on men's clothing than I do women's clothing. Maybe that's just because they're not necessarily like using the platforms like we are. But also this is vintage, and I know that I tend to get more full price sales on vintage pieces than I do on modern pieces, just because I think people worry like if I don't accept their offer, like there's not another one like this out there. Anyway, full price sale at $34 with a $1 cost of the bins has brought me to a profit of $28.30. Hope he absolutely loves it, and I hope it brings him some smiles. Next up, this is another cute little vintage piece, and I'll tell you, I've had so much interest in this. This is like a nice cotton. It's got ruffled trim. It's got this kind of cool like helix design down the front. There's no label in it. This was purely a style pickup. Got a little drawstring waist. It's super duper cute. And this is one of those things that I've had so much interest in, and you know, like a lot of offers on like Depop that never came to fruition. So I'm excited to be getting this to a new home. It is very, very cute. It did sit around for a while, but again, just had a ton of interest in it. So I had this listed for $22 for about 8 months. Again, sat for a while. And I got an offer for $15, which I did accept. I'm happy to be moving this one on. This is one of those items that I really had to lean on keywords for, because again, there was no brand that I could lean on for this. Anyway, with the $1 cost of the bins, this brought me to a profit of $11.05. So I hope she loves it. It is very, very cute, very summery, and definitely something that's very like classic. Like that feels very 70s, but it also feels like it could be worn kind of in any era that we remember. Next up is this adorable top. This one is from Aster the Label. It's got little bones in it, so it's like got a little bit of structure to it. Aster is a brand you can find at Nordstrom. It's not a brand I would say to pay up for. It doesn't retail for all that much. This used to do a little bit better on the resale market as well. It has slowed down, but this shirt I just thought was super duper cute. I will say, while it is a brand that doesn't retail for all that much, I think that their styles are very cute. They look more expensive than they are. You know, like this looks like it could have come from like House of CB. It very much has that style. But this top from House of CB would have been, you know, over $100. It's a brand I used to pick up a lot more often than I do now. I don't really touch it anymore. So I had this listed for about 7 months, and I had it listed for $24. You know, for Aster stuff, you can probably expect between like 15 and 25, depending on the piece and depending on the size. This one was, I think, like an extra small, just, you know, for your calculations as you're outsourcing. I got an offer for $16, which I did accept. Again, I was ready to move this on. With the $1 cost of the bins, this brought me to a profit of $11.80. So I hope she loves it. That is such a cute top. All right, next up here, you know, you have one of those pieces that you pick up and you just like know it's going to be something that flies out of your closet. That was this. This is 100% linen. It's from Talbots. It was a size 2X. I love the colors on this. It's so springy and summery, and I know it's kind of like a cartouche style design that's like in scales, but to me it looks like clouds. But this just had all of the things about it that I knew was going to make it a very, very quick sale. Talbots is one of those brands that's like expensive to buy, like it's expensive retail. You're not going to get a ton of money for it on resale, but if you're sourcing it for the right price, like Talbots in larger sizes, especially when you can find Talbots in like linens and nicer quality textiles, it's such an easy and fast sell. I would say just like a soft surroundings, just like a Chico's, I would maybe think twice about picking things up in sizes like medium and small, and certainly extra small. Obviously you want to put more emphasis on finding large, extra large, 2X, 3X. It's one of those great bread and butter brands. And that took me 4 times to get that out of my mouth, just so you know. The magic of editing showed you none of it, but I had to live through it. One of those great bread and butter brands that sells itself, right? Quality's there, people know it, people love it, it's a very popular brand. It's just all of the things that tell you it's gonna be a quick sell. You can generally expect somewhere between like $15 and $30 for most Talbots pieces, a little bit more when you're into like suits or like special occasion dresses, but for your typical day wear, somewhere in that $15 to $30 range. So I had this listed at $30 for under a week. I think this sold in about 2 or 3 days, and got an offer for $25, which I gladly accepted. With a $2 cost of the bins, this brought me to a profit of $20.66. Catch me picking up pieces like this anytime I see them. Next up here, this is another one that went super duper quickly. This is from Draper James, which is Reese Witherspoon's brand. This is very on brand for her. Gingham, perfectly fit. So Draper James, you just have to be careful if you're outsourcing it. If you see a label that says Draper James RSVP, that is the Draper James line that is licensed to Kohl's. So you just only want to be picking up the pieces that are just Draper James on the tag. It's a pretty expensive brand. It's definitely a brand that people know. It's very much got Reese Witherspoon's kind of preppy with a little bit of like coastal influence flavor. Every single piece that I've ever picked up from Draper James, I could 100% see her wearing, which I guess if it's your brand, that is what you do. But the more famous version of this sweatshirt is in navy blue, but this was super cute. I don't see it much in the bins. I don't see it much in the thrift. Maybe it's not super popular out here. Let me know, like, if you, do you see a lot of Draper James where you are? I feel like this is something that would be a little bit more popular in like maybe the South and maybe like New England. But I don't see it much here. I've only found 2 or 3 pieces. I'm always excited when I do find it. So I had this listed for just 3 days. Again, super quick sale. It was a size medium. And I had it listed for $32 and got an offer for $28.90, which I gladly accepted. With a $2 cost at the bins, this brought me to a profit of $20.79. In fact, I believe this is one that a friend of mine picked up at the bins and decided she didn't want, so she tossed it over to me. So thank you for that. I'll take any Draper James you don't want, is what I'm saying. Next up, another crazy fast sale. This is a swing dress from Natural Life. Now, Natural Life is a brand I used to do really well with, and it has slowed down some. And when I say slowed down some, I don't necessarily mean in like speed of sales, because it does sell very quickly, pretty much across the board. I'm talking in terms of like what you get for it. Something like this, like I would get $30 to $40 for it. Now something from Natural Life, for the most part, I'm gonna get between 20 and 30, and like a little bit less for the less significant pieces. But it is a brand that I do keep my eyes out for, especially when I'm sourcing at the bins, and especially in larger sizes. Everything that I've ever found from Natural Life that was an extra large has sold in like a day. Everything, multiple things over time. This one, not an exception. Literally sold in hours. But I had this listed for, again, hours. And I had it listed for $32 and I got an offer for $25, which I gladly accepted. And with the $2 cost of the bins, this brought me to a profit of $20.72. I hope she loves it. I mean, this brand does have like a cult following, but just like if you're outsourcing and you see it, like mind your costs. Don't go paying $15 for something from Natural Life. Next up, we got a cute little piece from Athleta, another size XL, which I do pick up when I see it. This is just a little cap sleeve, jersey, drapey top in this pretty like periwinkle purple. Athleta, again, a brand that has slowed down considerably on what you'll get for it. Athleta is such an expensive brand to buy retail. Like this was probably $60, $70. Like Athleta is very expensive. I've definitely stopped picking up Athleta leggings pretty much altogether unless I can find a pair of flares. But Athleta also does these like lifestyle pieces, you know, things that are like dresses that are not in any way athletic, you know, or like a shirt that is, you know, a tech fabric but can be worn to work. Those pieces still do very well for me. I do not find much of them in the bins, in the thrift, anywhere. I think it's because they tend to be very like good closet staple pieces and they wash really well because they're tech fabrics. So just like the Lululemon pieces like that, I don't find much of them because I just don't think people get rid of them. But do keep your eyes out for them while you are outsourcing. Like, let me know if you find a lot of them, because they can still fetch a really high price. And I was in there not too long ago and there was this great like white button-down shirt. I love a white button-down shirt. And I remember looking at the tag and it was like $149. I'm like, I'll pass. I will pass on that. So anyway, I had this listed for about 3 months. Again, I urge you to be picky with what you pick up from Athleta these days. And I had it listed for $28 and I got an offer for $22, which I gladly accepted. And with a $1 cost of the bins, this brought me to a profit of $17.39. Hope she loves it. Such a great, like, casual around the house piece. Next up are these silly little Intimately Free People bike shorts. 150% not something I would tell you to pick up for anything more than like $1. These intimately pieces do sell well for me. And it's funny, I have this conversation a lot because, you know, shipping is expensive on Poshmark, right? Like it's pretty, you know, you're paying almost $8, I think at this point for shipping. And when you look at something like this, you know, who's gonna pay $7, $8? This sold on Poshmark. Now, the price is reflective of it. You know, something like this, you're never gonna get much more than like maybe $15 on a piece like this. You know, like the bralettes, for example, that's kind of usually where the conversation comes to. Like the bralettes, I usually list like 22, 24, depending on which bralette it is. And I expect to get like $15. Definitely things that I only source from the bins. And honestly, since my bins just raise their price and they're not like pay by pound, it's something that I will probably not pick up quite as much anymore. Because even going from like $1 to $2 is like a big jump in terms of what I'll get for it, right? If you're at a place that's pay by the pound, like if I'm back east and I'm, you know, shopping with my mom, like 100% I'll pick them up there because essentially you're getting them for like 50 cents, right? But there's a big difference between 50 cents and $2 when you are selling on the lower end of the price points. So I had these listed for about 10 months at $15 and I got an offer for $10, which I gladly accepted. With the $1 cost of the bins, this brought me to a profit of $6.05. And these sold on Poshmark, so they did pay that shipping cost, so people do pay it. Next up, this is something that I've had for a long time and I've had so much interest on it. This is from Torrid. Again, I very much slowed up picking up Torrid. Unless it's something that is kind of gothy or vintage inspired, this is very much vintage inspired. But either way, this is super cute and something that I thought would sell pretty quickly. I'll tell you, it didn't sell super quickly, but it did have a ton of interest. And Torrid stuff, I will say, continues to have a ton of interest. I don't know if it's just saturated or if there are, you know, more options for plus sizes out there, which like, yes, please. We need that. There needs to be more size inclusivity. It's unacceptable that so many women that are plus size had like 3 stores to shop from for the longest time. But Torrid used to be one of those brands that was like in and out of your closet in a day or two. And that is not the case anymore. I do still pick some stuff up. I'm just very, very selective with what I do pick up. And I think I'm finally kind of getting a structure to like what I'm doing with Torrid. Anytime something like that happens with the brands that I pick up, you really have to kind of like figure out the new game plan for it, right? Back in the day, I would pick up anything from Torrid. Now it's just specifically like these kinds of clothes and these sizes. And you know, it tends to work out. Anytime I figure stuff out like that, I will be sure to share with you guys. The last thing I want is for any of us to be sitting on a ton of inventory. So anyway, I had this listed for $27. I had it for about 4 months and I got an offer for $20, which I did accept. With the $1 cost of the bins, this brought me to a profit of $17.58. I hope she loves it. That is a super cute, very like 1920s style camisole. Next up, this is a little Y2K piece. This is from J Brand, which I don't think exists anymore, but this is a cashmere sweater and it's slim fit and it's got these really cool side vents. Let me like show you. Can you see that? They're kind of wide, like intentionally wide. But J Brand was a pretty expensive brand. This was kind of in the same world as like Joe's Jeans. Definitely a popular brand in the Y2K era. But this is, you know, for the most part, just a great like classic crew neck cashmere sweater. Like, let me know if you remember J Brand from the early 2000s. I always wanted to be a 7 for All Mankind girl, but none of their jeans ever fit me. Also I couldn't afford them. But I did find some great Joe's jeans that I loved, and I think I got them at like Nordstrom Rack for about half price, and I thought I was it when I was wearing those. But I never really dipped my toe into J Brand. I just knew that they were kind of around that era in that kind of similar echelon. Update, guys, I think we're at about an hour in and still no dryer. So anyway, I had this listed for about 2 months. I had it listed for $38. I got an offer for $30, which I did accept. With a $1 cost of the bins, this brought me to a profit of $23 even. Hope she loves it. It's so fun to find like a vintage cashmere piece. That's 20 years old. Easily, that could have been chewed through by, you know, a swarm of moths, and it was in great shape. Next up is this great sweater from Splendid. Now, Splendid is a brand I don't pick up all that often. This though is an interesting sweater. It's a pretty significant piece. It's made of like Pima cotton and Angora. It's a really interesting blend. And it's got like, the fabric itself looks kind of like mesh. Like, can you see that? Looks kind of like the mesh that they used to make like pennies out of. Do you remember pennies? Do you remember when pennies had like a fashion moment like 5 or 6 years ago? Micro trends are weird, y'all. This is one of those things that's going to be incredibly hard to fold because it's just a weird shape. It's also a really interesting color. Like if you're looking at this, it looks gray, right? Like this looks gray on screen, but if you look up close, you can see that there's a lot of like pink and blue that's kind of blended together. You know, like when you look at like an old tube TV screen, or if you get like a drop of water on a phone and all of a sudden you see the red, green, and blue, that's kind of what this is up close. It's always so wild to me when you think about like every color in the world can all be made with a blend of 4 different colors. To me, that is so wild. So this one I had for quite a while. Again, Splendid just doesn't move all that quick, but this was just such a nice piece that I didn't want to leave it behind. So I had this listed at $34, again, for about a year, and it popped through as a full price sale. So there you go. With a $1 cost of the bins, this brought me to a profit of $26.20. Hope she loves it. It is a great little piece. Oh, this is going to my old Boston neighborhood. Next up, this was a find and a half. This is, I mean, I wish you could feel this because it feels like a literal cloud. This is from Gabriella Hurst. And if you're unfamiliar with that name, I want you to get familiar with that name. I don't know how often you're gonna find it because this sweater was about $1,500 new. Unbelievable. It is cashmere and silk. This is the label. Obviously, I think that was probably from like the price tag, but commit that to memory, please and thank you. Let me know if you have ever found a Gabriella Hurst piece, because I was shaking when I found it. It is a size extra small. It's got the kind of double whammy of being a high-priced piece and an extra small. So you kind of expect for these things to take a bit of time to sell. Man, do I wish this was my size, you know? That is just about the softest thing I've ever felt in my life. It's kind of like a looser knit with a little bit of a slub to the yarns. So it kind of has a little bit of a, like a, I don't want to say like a nubby feel to it, but a little bit of a nubby feel to it, which is such an unusual texture with cashmere, right? Typically you'll see like a fine gauge cashmere and it's like, you know, they try to have as little fuzz as possible. You can tell that there was a little bit of like fuzz, a little bit of like, they call it peach in the industry, like the fuzz that comes off of a yarn. You can tell that there was like some intentional peach to these yarns. And I mean, like this thing is light as a feather. So this one I had listed for $230. So again, absolutely no joke with Gabriella Hurst. Pick it up if you see it. And I got an offer for $150, which I did accept. Again, it's that high end, it's an extra small size. I didn't want it sitting around for another year. So I took the offer for $150 with a $1 cost of bins, which, oh my God, this brought me to a profit of $119 even. Oh, I hope she absolutely adores this sweater because it is so nice. Again, like $1,500 retail. Unbelievably expensive. All right, next up, this is a thermal top from a brand called Hot Chili's. So Hot Chili's is a brand I would urge you to pick up if you see it cheap. This is something that you do get at a sporting goods store. Like you'll get this at a reputable ski store. Hot Chili's in the grand scheme of ski stores would be considered like a price point brand. Now, let me be clear. When I say a price point brand of ski base layers, these are still probably about $40 a piece. Base layers are not cheap. Obviously, things from like Patagonia, Arc'teryx, Icebreaker, Smartwool, those are gonna be a little bit more of a premium brand. But make no mistake about it, like Hot Chili's is still definitely a good brand. And if you are going out, you know, on a ski trip and maybe you've never skied before and you need to pick up these kind of things, no, first and foremost, I'm gonna be very clear, absolutely, positively, no cotton next to your skin. Cannot stress that enough. I will tell you that when I learned how to snowboard, and I learned how to snowboard at 23 years old, I did not heed that warning. And I will tell you that I sat in a soaked base layer for about 8 hours in the ice cold of New England. So absolutely no cotton next to your skin. So this guy I picked up at the bins. I had it listed for about $25 and I had it listed for about 6 months. Not surprising that it didn't move all that quickly. And my sidekick sent an offer for $22, which was accepted. And with a $1 cost at the bins, this brought me to a profit of $16.60. Hope that's going on a fun ski vacation. Next up, this is something that I had for a while, and I'm kind of surprised it took so long to sell. This is another Torrid piece. And it's this adorable blue skater skirt with embroidered stars. This is something that I thought for sure would go for like the Eras tour, but it sat. It had a ton of interest in it, but it did not move. I've had it for over a year, so I was definitely ready to move this one on. And it is just so, so cute. Just case in point what I'm talking about with Torrid these days. So I had this listed for, again, a little over a year. I think it was like a year and 3 months. And I had it listed for $22. I had lowered the price a couple times and I got an offer for $12, which I did accept. Again, I was ready to move this on. And with a $1 cost of the bins, this brought me to a profit of $8.05. I hope she loves it. This is, again, just so cute. I cannot believe this took so long to sell. And finally, last piece I have here are these super cool Y2K vintage pants from Theory. Whew, I can't believe we made it. So these are ultra low rise. They're a stretch linen blend. They're so cute. They are, I think, a size 0, so I wasn't expecting for them to sell all that quick. So I'm telling you, like, the low rise thing is back with a vengeance. Anything Y2K and low rise, make sure you're using those 2 keywords because people are like literally searching for Y2K low rise pants. These are from Theory, of course. Theory is one of my favorite brands, extremely high-end basics. They make very simple clothing out of like the best possible textiles. The construction is always on point. They are like, if you are somebody who needs to work in an office and wear like office professional clothing, you can buy Theory stuff with like confidence. Their white button-down shirts are amongst the best I've ever seen in my life. Wash well, they wear well, they always look kind of like crisp. I love them. So these I had listed for just about 3 months. I think that they actually sold pretty quickly considering the size. But I had them listed for $34 and I got an offer for $26, which I did accept with a $1 cost of the bins. This brought my profit to $22.68. I hope she loves them. These are super, super cool. I mean, like linen low-rise flare pants. It's just like, that's an unusual combination, right? Like it's gonna be something that like looks like one thing from afar, but when you get up close, you'll be able to tell like what a cool piece they are. But that is it, guys. Thank you so much for hanging with me while I literally got my work done. Updates, still no dryers. I think we're at about an hour and 15 minutes at this point, so I'm gonna have to chase them down and see what the heck is going on. But one way or another, I've got to get all this stuff loaded up and to the post office. That is my priority number 1. I cannot wait for them and risk not getting these over to the post office. But thanks for sitting through this whole slog with me. There was so much to get out the door. I hope you guys had a good weekend of sales as well. Let me know if you did down below, or let me know if you had a terrible weekend of sales. I swear, sometimes the algorithm is just with you and sometimes it is not. So that is just the nature of this business. But guys, I hope you had fun. If you did, please consider leaving a like or a comment on this video. If you have any content ideas that you'd like to see me do, don't ever hesitate to put them down in the comments below. I'm always keeping my eyes out for stuff like that. But guys, without further ado, I hope you have the most beautiful weekend. Go birds, happy hunting, and I will see you all in the next one.